Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Haram Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprahi Shubhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtike. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 12, the cleansing of the Gundicha temple. Text 134 of notes. Pranalika Chadiyadi Pani Vahaila Nutanadi Yena Samudre Milila. When the water from the different rooms was finally let out through the halls, it appeared as if new rivers were rushing out to meet the waters of the ocean. Ei mat purva dwar aage path jayata shakal shodhila taha kevarni bekata. Outside the gateway of the temple, all the roads were also cleansed, and no one could really tell exactly how this was done. In commenting on the cleansing of the Gundicha temple, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as a world teacher, was personally giving instructions on how one should receive Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, within one's cleansed and pacified heart. If one wants to see Krishna seated in his heart, he must first cleanse the heart, as prescribed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shikshashtakam, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. In this age, everyone's heart is especially unclean, as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Hridanthastoya Bhadrani. To wash away all dirty things accumulated within the heart, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised everyone to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. The first result will be that the heart is cleansed. Cheto Darpan Marjana. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam confirms this statement. Shrunvatam Sukatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. Hridantasto Yavadrani Vidunoti Surat Sata. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who relishes his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So what is the unclean part in our heart? Is the desire for material enjoyment. If a devotee at all wants to cleanse his heart, he must chant and hear the glories of the Lord, Shri Krishna. This is a simple process. Krishna himself will help cleanse the heart because he is already seated there. Krishna wants to continue living within the heart, and the Lord wants to give directions, but one has to keep his heart as clean as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept the Gundicha temple. The devotee therefore has to cleanse his heart, just as the Lord cleansed the Gundicha temple. In this way, one can be pacified and enriched in devotional service. If the heart is filled with straw, grains of sand, weeds, or dust, or in other words, Anya Abhilasha Purna, one cannot enthrone the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Anya Abhilasha. Anya Abhilasha. Anya means other than, other desires, other than of serving Krishna. The Lord cannot sit there. The heart must be cleansed of all material motives brought about through fruitive work, speculative knowledge, mystic yoga system, and so many other forms of so-called meditation. The heart must be cleansed without ulterior motive. As Srila Rupa Goswami says, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karamadi Anavrita. In other words, there should not be any external motive. One should not attempt material upliftment, understanding the Supreme by speculative knowledge, fruitive activity, severe austerity and penance, and so on. Nothing, not even severe austerity. Only desire to serve Krishna. That's it. All these activities are against the natural growth of spontaneous love of Godhead. As soon as these are present within the heart should be understood to be unclean and therefore unfit to serve as Krishna's sitting place. We cannot perceive the Lord's presence in our hearts unless our hearts are cleansed. So we cannot perceive it. But we cannot perceive the Lord's presence. Forget about service of the Lord. Love of Krishna. That's the goal. So why, all these things unnecessary. Speculative knowledge, yes, by just speculation, we cannot understand Krishna. Fruitive activity, definitely not. We are too attached to the karma phal. I want to enjoy those results. Severe austerity. Because severe austerity, it makes the heart very hard. We become proud of our austerities. The austerity is there in bhakti also, but our austerity is getting up early, chanting minimum 16 rounds. That is an austerity in the beginning. So when we start loving how to chant, loving chanting and loving the holy name, then it's not an austerity. It's like you want to get up. We love to get up early and chant. But other severe austerity, it really makes the heart very hard. And when the heart is hard, Krishna is not going to come. I mean, so much of pride is there. And with austerities also comes 1, 2, or all 8, or some percentage of the siddhis. Then the person tries to enjoy those siddhis instead of serving Krishna. The main item is to serve Krishna, Krishna's devotees. That is a focus. And when we make our heart very soft by service, in the mode of humility and tolerance and patience, developing those qualities and serving, keep on serving, then our heart becomes very soft, soft as butter, and Krishna can come and steal it. That's how we want to progress. A material desire is explained as a desire to enjoy the material world to its fullest extent. In modern language, this is called economic development. An inordinate desire for economic development is considered to be like strains and grains of sand within the heart. If one is overly engaged in material activity, the heart will always remain disturbed. Overly engaged in material activity, the heart will always remain disturbed. As stated by Narottam Das Thakur, Sansara Vishanale Diva Nishihiya Jale, Julaitina Kainu Upai. In other words, endeavor for material opulence is against the principle of devotional service. Material enjoyment includes activities such as great sacrifices for auspicious activity, charity, austerity, elevation to the higher planetary system, and even living happily within the material world. So these are all endeavors for material opulence, material enjoyment. And as long as one is overly engaged, then one's heart will remain disturbed. Modernized material benefits are like the dust of material contamination. When this dust is agitated by the whirlwind of fruitive activity, it overcomes the heart. Thus, the mirror of the heart is covered with dust. And so much of dust is there, and it is agitated by fruitive activity. Means one forgets the goal of life. He cannot see the goal of life, and he is only over-involved in material activity, trying to enjoy this material world, in material enjoyment, material desires. So much is there, and the advertisement in TV, internet, hoardings, all these advertisements are there for what? To entice us. if you don't wear this cloth, or if you don't wear this watch, if you don't have this phone, if you don't have this laptop, if you don't have this car, and so on and so forth. Advertisements is for everything. Their their way of showing is, if you don't have this, then your life is unsuccessful. You are unsuccessful. Nobody would even want to talk to you. Nobody would even look at you because you're such a loser, because you don't have this and you don't have that. And then the person keeps on working hard to get more and more stuff, more and more stuff. For what? In the end, what? Nothing. He gets nothing. Sometimes this argument is there. Oh, what's wrong with getting a new car and people will respect me for having a new car? I would say if people want to respect you, they should respect you as a person, not for the car. I mean, they're respecting the car, not you. What's the point? Well, having a new car is nothing wrong with that if your car is not working properly. But just for the sake of keeping up with Sharmas and Varmas, there's no need. But this is what is going on. And this dust is agitated and person cannot see properly. There are many desires to perform auspicious and inauspicious activities, but people do not know how life after life they're keeping their hearts unclean. One who cannot give up the desire for fruitive activity is understood to be covered by the dust of material contamination. Karmis generally think that the interaction of fruitive activities can be counteracted by another karma or fruitive activity. This is certainly a mistaken conception. If one is deluded by such a conception, he is cheated by his own activity. Such activities have been compared to an elephant's bathing. An elephant may bathe very thoroughly, but as soon as it comes out of the river, it immediately takes some sand from the land and throws it all over its body. So if one suffers due to his past fruitive activities, he cannot counteract his suffering by performing auspicious activities. Generally, this is what we think. Oh, acha karo, punya karo. Kisi ke sath kharab mat karo. Don't do anything bad for anybody. But that's auspicious activity. Whatever we are suffering from our past activities, by performing punya karam, we cannot get rid of those karmic reactions. The sufferings of human society cannot be counteracted by material plans. The only way suffering can be mitigated is by Krishna consciousness. When one takes to Krishna consciousness and engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, beginning with chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord, the cleansing of the heart begins. And this cleansing, as we discussed, is removing the material desires. Slowly, slowly, slowly. When the heart is actually cleansed, one can see clearly the Lord sitting there without any disturbance. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord confirms that he sits within the heart of the pure devotee. Sadhu hridayam mahim, sadhunam hridayam tvaham. So, there's also a bhajan, it says, Bhakta Hriday Sada Govinda Vishram, something like that. So Govinda does Vishram in the heart of his devotee. Why? Because the devotee is not bothering him with any material desires. And on top of it, he wants to serve the Lord. When he is serving the Lord, Lord will take rest in his heart. Where is he going to go? Further, Prabhupada writes, impersonal speculation monism, merging into the existence of the Supreme, speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, and meditation are all compared to grains of sand. So these are becoming subtler and subtler. They simply cause irritation to the heart. So there's no disturbance, but it's irritating. No one can satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by such activities, nor do we give the Lord a chance to sit in our hearts peacefully. Rather, the Lord is simply disturbed by them. Sometimes yogis and jnanis in the beginning take to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra as a way to begin their various practices. So, take to chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra as a way to begin their various practices, which are yoga or jnana. But when they falsely think that they have attained release from the bondage of material existence, they give up chanting. They do not consider that the ultimate goal is the form of the Lord or the name of the Lord. Such unfortunate creatures are never favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for they do not know what devotional service is. Lord Krishna describes them in Bhagavad Gita in this way. Tanaham dvishata kruran sansareshu naradhavam shipami ajasram ashubhan asrishveva yonishu. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into the various demoniac species of life. So this is how hard it is, Prabhupada is writing, that even though they are engaged in impersonal speculation, monism, merging into the existence of the Supreme, the moksha, speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, meditation, they all compare to grains of sand. Means it's not pleasing the Lord. By his practical example, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown us that all the grains of sand must be picked up thoroughly and thrown outside. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also cleansed the outside of the temple, fearing that the grains of sand would again come within. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that even though one may become free from the desire for fruitive activity, sometimes the subtle desire for fruitive activity again comes into being within the heart. So subtle desire can also come. So we can see our level, where we are. We are performing or trying to perform or struggling to perform devotion service, but at the same time in our heart there are desires for fruitive activity. Karma kanda, we want some fruitive results. So we have to go a long way, that's all. Or we pray for the mercy of Prabhupada to please help us. One often thinks of conducting business to improve devotional activity, but the contamination is so strong that it may later develop into misunderstanding, described as kutinati, fault-finding, and pratisthasha, the desire for name and fame and for high position. Jiva hinsa, envy of other living entities. Nishidachar, accepting things forbidden in the Shastra. Kama, desire for material gain. And puja, hankering for popularity. So many things can come with fruitive activity desires. The word kutinati means duplicity. As an example of pratisthasha, one may attempt to imitate Srila Haridas Thakur by living in a solitary place. One's real desire may be for name and fame. In other words, one thinks that fools will accept one to be as good as Haridas Thakur just because one lives in a solitary place. These are all material desires. We can say that, oh, I just want to sit down and chant. But what's in our heart? Krishna knows, obviously. Shastras can tell us, guide us. That's what the Shastras are. And the sadhus, if they're real, genuine sadhus, they know. A neophyte devotee is certain to be attacked by other material desires as well, namely desires for women and money. In this way, the heart is again filled with dirty things and becomes harder and harder, like that of a materialist. Gradually, one desires to become a reputed devotee or an avatar, incarnation. Yeah, this desire for reputation is also very, very contaminating. And Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said at one place, uh, Puja Pratishtha is like Baghini, tigress. It will kill and eat the devotion service. The word Jiva Hinsa, envy of other living entities, actually means stopping the preaching of Krishna consciousness. Preaching work is described as paropakar, welfare activity for others. Those who are ignorant of the benefits of devotion service must be educated by preaching. If one stops preaching and simply sits down in a solitary place, he is engaging in material activity. If one desires to make a compromise with the Mayavadis, he is also engaged in material activity. A devotee should never make compromises with non-devotees. By acting as a professional guru, mystic yogi, or miracle man, one may cheat and bluff the general public and gain fame as a wonderful mystic. But all this is considered to be dust, straw, and grains of sand within the heart. In addition, one should follow the regulatory principles, not desire illicit sex, gambling, intoxicants, or meat. It's not easy to make progress. To give us practical instructions, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cleansed the temple. Cleansed the temple twice. His second cleansing was more thorough. The idea was to throw away all the stumbling blocks on the path of devotional service. He cleansed the temple with firm conviction, as is evident from his using his own personal garments for cleaning. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to see personally that the temple was thoroughly cleansed to the standard of clean marble. Clean marble gives a cooling effect. Devotional service means attaining peace from all disturbances caused by material contamination. In other words, it's a process by which the mind is cooled. That's why in one bhajan it says, Nitai Pad Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala. So Nitai, Lord Nityananda's lotus feet are Koti Chandra, crores, millions of, it's as cool as millions of moon. Because we are not disturbed by the problems of the material world, if we take shelter of the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. The mind can be peaceful and thoroughly cleansed when one no longer desires anything but devotional service. Even though all dirty things may be cleansed away, sometimes subtle desires remain in the mind for impersonalism, monism, success, and the four principles of religious activity: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. All these are like spots on clean cloth. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also wanted to cleanse all these away. By his practical activity, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed us how to cleanse our hearts. Once the heart is cleansed, we should invite Lord Sri Krishna to sit down, and we should observe the festival by distributing prasadam and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to teach every devotee by his personal behavior. Everyone who spreads the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts a similar responsibility. The Lord was personally chastising and praising individuals in the course of the cleaning, and those who are engaged as acharyas must learn from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu how to train devotees by personal example. That's what acharya means, but he teaches by example. The Lord was very pleased with those who could cleanse the temple by taking out undesirable things accumulated within. This is called anartha nivritti, cleansing the heart of all unwanted things. Thus, the cleansing of the Gundicha Mandir was conducted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to let us know how the heart should be cleansed and soothed to receive Lord Shri Krishna and enable him to sit within the heart without disturbance. Jai. Wonderful purport. So I guess we can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisance.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, though it is like it has been mentioned so clearly, but by the time we are with the association, we are always trying to chant and everything. We, in a way, somehow we see there is an improvement which comes in us. We become more patient, we become more cool. But this consciousness mind is so distracting, Prabhuji. बस समय उस सिचुएशन से हम निकलते नहीं है कि फिर से it goes round and it plays the trick and फिर we get carried away like that. So this we have very less hope actually. Yeah, Hari
Nahin,
Ram.
nahin. That is why association is important. No? Devotees keep on reminding us what's the right
Yes,
thing.
yes, very true,
And
Prabhuji.
and association of books of Prabhupada. Prabhupada's books
Yeah,
are very important. Yes.
yes, yes, Prabhuji. And the good thing what I found is like in Yatra also, wherever we go, either it's Pune, either you are preaching, yeah, any in Odisha also, in any temple, uh, whatever people, especially the ISKCON devotees speak, they speak in the same line, same thing, which is not in other places. We don't see that. I mean, so मुझे वो चीज बहुत ही अच्छा लगता है ISKCON का. हर जगह हर अलग अलग जगह के भक्त अलग अलग भाषा है, बट बात वही बता रहे हैं, वो सेम चीज जो प्रभुपाद ने बोला है. एंड दैट इज हाउ प्रभुपाद्स बुक इज सो मर्सीफुल एक्चुअली.
Yeah, our source is only Prabhupada's book. That's all we have.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And that's a perfect source actually.
When you were giving class, you told that कि हम जहाँ पे नित्यानंद प्रभु का जन्म हुआ था वहाँ पे वो प्रभुपाद के पर्पट्स थे कि इतने डिस्टेंस पे वो घर है बना हुआ एंड ऑल. तो आई वाज जस्ट बिफोर विजिटिंग दोस प्लेसेस आई वाज गोइंग थ्रू ऑल दोस पर्पट अगेन. तो मुझे वही चीज लग रहा था कि इतने साल हो गए प्रभुपाद को गए हुए, बट उनके स्पेसिफिकेशन कितना सही है, जैसा उन्होंने बताया था वैसा वहां पे है.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really very amazing. It was actually Prabhuji to see all those things what he has described in the purport, and to see that those things आंखों से देखना वो जगह वो spot. It's really.
Yeah, I know. Now I want to go to these places. I've never been to Ek Chakra, Ramkeli, and Kanai Nadshala. I
Yes,
want to
Prabhuji,
go.
there were many in our group actually who told that we have came Mayapur 4 times, 3 to 4 times, but एक चक्र बहुत कम लोग गए थे, and this was our first yatra and we were blessed actually to go there.
That's really nice. So, how long does it take from Mayapur to Ek Chakra?
Oh, Prabhuji, yeah, it's a long distance of 5 hours.
5 hours. Yeah, somebody told me 4 5 hours.
Yes, actually, if there is no traffic and all, and if you start early, like 4, आपको 4 बजे या 4:30 में निकल गए तो जल्दी 5 घंटे के पहले 4 घंटे तक में पहुंच जाएंगे, 4:30 घंटे में. बट अगर लेट जैसे जैसे होता रहता है वैसे ट्रैफिक बढ़ती रहती है. एंड द मेन थिंग इज दैट यू कैन नॉट जस्ट गो अवे. मतलब हम लोगों का कैसा था कि हम बस चले जा रहे थे, नहीं नाश्ता के लिए कहीं उतरना नहीं है ऐसा वैसा, जो है स्नैक्स अपना कैरी किया वैसे ही था. तो इसकी वजह से वो थोड़ा कम भी टाइम था. अदरवाइज इफ यू गेट डाउन एंड फिर इतने सारे डिवोटी उतरेंगे चढ़ेंगे तो उसकी वजह से भी टाइम जा रहा था प्रभु जी.
वो हमारा ग्रुप ऐसा है नहीं ना, बिना खाए पिए चलते नहीं है।
तो वही, वो भी हम, हमारे ग्रुप का भी वही था। तो इसी वजह से, क्योंकि बच्चे भी थे और तो उन्होंने पहले ही बोला था हमको कि कैरी करो, बट फिर भी वो होता है ना, लगता ही है टाइम प्रभु जी, 5 आवर्स तो लग ही जाते हैं। हम
और
सुबह निकले थे और रात में आए।
अगर अशोक प्रभु साथ में होंगे, वो बिना खिलाए रह ही नहीं सकते।
हरी बोल। हम एक्चुअली ये जो
एनीवे,
ऑर्गेनाइजर लोग थे, ये सब जो होता है ना, वॉइस डिवोटीज बोलते हैं ना उनको, लड़के लोगों को, यंग ब्रह्मचारीज को लेके जाने वाले लोग थे। तो ये उन्होंने हम लोगों को भी लेके गए थे। बट हाँ, वो मैनेज कर रहे थे बीच बीच में खाने का जहां भी होता था। बट वो पहले से इंटीमेट करते थे, कैरी योर ओन स्नैक्स, कुछ कुछ कैरी कीजिए, फिर हम लोग भी आपको बस पे ही प्रोवाइड कर देंगे कुछ अगर होगा तो। और वही कीर्तन करते करते, मतलब सो दैट कि वो आपको बोर भी ना हो और अपने राउंड्स कीजिए, तो वैसे हो जाता था।
हम्म,
बट फिर भी हम सुबह निकले तो 9 बजे, 9:30 बजे आए वापस प्रभु जी, 6 बजे निकल के।
वाह। तो उधर अरे, आई शुड स्टॉप द रिकॉर्डिंग फर्स्ट। उधर वो नहीं है रहने